The Untold, A.K.A Sasquatch, is one of 5 Bigfoot movies Lance Hendrickson has been in, and it just so happens to be the 5th one that I've seen. So I think at the end of this video we should go back and rank them to see which one is the best. But first, we have to watch Sasquatch and see where it will fit with the rest. It opens up with a small group on a plane. It turns out that these people all work for Biocomp Industries, and Tara here is the CEO's daughter. Suddenly, something happens, and the plane takes a nosedive right into the thick woods of the Pacific Northwest. Bigfoot territory.
We're already in Bigfoot territory, where all those people were killed.
The good news is everyone survived the plane crash. The bad news is that something attacks them. Man, that was some bad luck. You lived through a plane crash, which I assume is a pretty rare thing to do, only to wind up being attacked by a monster? Well, as we'll see later, there might be a reason for the attack. Anyway, like I said, a rich CEO's daughter was on the plane, and when rescue crews come back empty-handed, not even able to find the plane, Harlan Knowles gathers a small crew together to find her. But maybe he's looking for something else too. Anyway, first we meet the crew. There's Clayton, who looks an awful lot like Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. Seriously, I think they could be brothers. Nikki Adams, who really does nothing in the movie. I don't know why she's here. Winston Berg, some adventurer/writer. Marla Lawson, who I think is an insurance agent or something. I don't really know. Plaz, the computer nerd. And then finally Harlan himself, played by Hendrickson. They all load up, head out, and before you know it, they're hiking in the woods. Not much happens the first few days. We learn that Plaz is a nerd for Bigfoot and all things cryptozoology.
You don't really believe in that crap, do you?
Hundreds of people have reported sightings over the years.
Hundreds of quacks.
They have a couple close calls that really end up being nothing, and we get a weird scene with Marla taking off her clothes to go to bed. Was this really necessary? Well, that night something does come to her tent. If it's a bear or Bigfoot, I don't really know, but it pulls her out and drags her off into the woods. The others catch up to her and scare whatever pulled her away, and Clayton patches her up.
That's real nice, but I was just gonna put it in your shoulder.
The next morning, they find a bear, so I'm guessing that's what pulled Marla out of the tent. But it's been hit with a rock, and now it's dead. What would have done this? They continue their trek through the wilderness when they eventually find a cave, and wanting to get out of the rain, everyone piles in. They take a look deep inside and find some cave paintings, but they're fresh, only a few weeks old. Why in the world would a human being come all the way out here just to draw in a cave? Well, maybe it wasn't a human that did it. Next, there's kind of a pointless scene, but it does show Marla's true colors. She knows something is up with this whole expedition. She dug deep into Harlan's corporation and found that he's put every cent into something he calls the Hudson Project. But she doesn't know what that is. She threatens to go public and tell the investors that Harlan put all his stock into one product, which would be bad. So she blackmails him for $30 million.
You'll be back.
Finally, the next day they make it to the alleged crash site, but nothing. One would think that there would be, well, you know, an airplane here, but yeah, it's missing. Clayton climbs up into a tree and does find a piece of the fuselage, and scratch marks all over the trees, so he decides to follow him and see where it leads. Well, get this, they end up finding the plane 5 miles from the crash site. So what happened? Is this a government cover-up? Is Harlan's company somehow involved with moving it? Well, no, it's none of the above. Get this, Sasquatch moved it. Yeah, seriously, that's the reasoning they give. Because these creatures can sense danger, it knew that people would come looking for the plane, so it hid it deep into the woods. What kind of sense does that make? Well, honestly, this isn't even the dumbest part of the movie. We'll get there soon enough. Obviously, there's no survivors here, but Harlan doesn't seem to really care about that at the moment. He's looking for something else, a little box that was on board. Eventually, they find it, and begrudgingly, Harlan explains what this is. This box is the Hudson Project, the entire future of his company. It's able to tell from a single hair your entire medical history. Instantly. No need to wait for lab work. This kind of a device would revolutionize the medical industry, so I see why he cared about it so much. Apparently, the company can't rebuild it, so he had to go looking for it. They do find something interesting in the machine's history, something that doesn't match anything else in the database, which should be impossible. So if that isn't painfully clear, the survivors use the machine to test some Bigfoot DNA, and now they have evidence of the creature. Also, on the plane, they find a camera, which is a little bit more personal for Harlan because this is the last moments he could see his daughter. She apologizes to him because apparently their relationship wasn't the best. She blamed him for her mother's death and blah blah blah. She's sorry for how she's treated her father, and we're moving on to the good stuff here. Tara says that when they fell from the sky, they hit something because there was blood on the front of the plane. Now just wait a second, hold the phone here. Are you really gonna go there, movie? Are you trying to tell me that this plane crashed and hit a Bigfoot? That's like finding a needle in a haystack. No, that's like throwing a dart at a haystack 1,000 acres big and hitting the needle. What? Well, yes, that is actually what happened according to this movie. So I guess we're just gonna have to roll with it. While Harlan's watching the tape, tensions grow between Winston and Clayton. Now, Winston this whole time has been a jerk, and everyone has seen his true side. You jackass! He writes about all these adventures and tales in his books, but now it's clear he hasn't gone outside his apartment in years, and he just doesn't know what he's doing out here. Now he's drunk, and he's getting violent. They cool down for a bit, and while Winston's alone, Bigfoot gets him. Later on, Clayton's out looking for him and stumbles upon the beast's den, which is filled with bodies. The effects here are actually really good, so I gotta give him credit for that. There's also a random firework here for no reason. At first, I thought that was supposed to be a flare, but that's not a flare gun. I think they just put a firework in the movie for fun. Clayton runs back to the group to show them. Harlan comes in, he finds his daughter, which seals her fate, and he starts to bury her, while everyone else just watches. Come on, help the guy out. While he's digging graves by himself, Marla's back at the camp, and she gets the bright idea to steal the Hudson box. But she doesn't get too far. After seeing all this, the survivors of the group decide enough is enough, and it's time to head home. Harlan picks up the box and makes their way out of the woods. But they're being followed. Why is Bigfoot tracking them? Well, it knows about the machine and how it has the evidence on it to prove the existence of Sasquatch. So I guess it wants the box destroyed.
It's a goddamn animal!
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. But at this point, this is the most believable part of the movie. I guess now Harlan has had enough and he decides that he wants to get revenge for his daughter, and he leaves the group to hunt down Bigfoot, which we finally get a good look at it. Well, why is it balding? The makeup looks good, but I guess they ran out of money when it came to the hair. Anyway, Harlan walks around for a while until he's finally slapped by Bigfoot. Now it's hand-to-hand combat. Old man versus balding Bigfoot. Well, after a fight, Harlan manages to run away, but knocks himself out on a tree branch. Oops. Bigfoot carries him off, and he wakes up next to the Bigfoot baby. You know, the one that got hit by an airplane. Baldy watches him for a minute, and then Harlan aims and fires. But not at Bigfoot, at the Hudson box, destroying it, and the evidence of Bigfoot. So, the beast spares him. And that was Sasquatch, or the Untold, depending on who you ask. All in all, a very weird Bigfoot movie. Some things I liked. Lance Hendrickson plays a good billionaire CEO. I wonder why he didn't play that role in other movies. Clayton was very likable as well. I thought he did a pretty good job. The makeup and special effects were great on the dead bodies, and just okay on Bigfoot. I would have preferred more hair, but they went the Night of the Demon route, so it's okay. But what was up with that storyline? All over it's fine, a guy goes looking for his daughter in Bigfoot territory. But the plot points are just so stupid. Bigfoot gets hit by a plane, the beast can understand how a machine works that will prove its existence. It's all just so idiotic. There's also things like Winston being so incredibly unlikable that you just want him to die. And the Bigfoot cave drawing that leads nowhere. And then don't forget about the weird special effects like this slow choppy frame rate for no reason and the upside down shot in the tent. All of that combined sour the experience to the point where I just can't recommend this movie. I give The Untold 1.5 planes hitting a Bigfoot out of 4.
Jackass! I am definitely never buying any more of your books.
Hey, you made it to the end, didn't you? You must really want to know which Lance Hendrickson Bigfoot movie to watch. Well, here you go. In order from best to worst, undoubtedly, it's Abominable. Even though Hendrickson is basically a cameo in this movie, it's still the best one. Next would be Big Legend, which, again, he's in the movie for the last 5 minutes, but it's a good one. And it's a shame that they couldn't make any sequels like they originally planned. Next would be Sasquatch Mountain, which has 2 big reasons to watch that one. I'm joking, it's a decent Bigfoot movie. Then I'd say this movie, The Untold, which is just a little too dumb for me to recommend to the average moviegoer. Then finally it's The Lost Tribe, which is debatable if it's a Bigfoot movie at all, but if you count it, it's probably the worst Lance Hendrickson Bigfoot movie there is. Anyway, that's my ranking. What do you think? Do you agree? Let me know. And of course, thanks for watching.